What's going on, my friends? Welcome to the Arrington Gavin Show, your go-to spot for sharp insights, bold opinions, and unfiltered takes on the biggest stories of the day, whether it's politics, sports, pop culture, or the latest buzz. Look, we're diving deep and keeping it real, so do me a favor, kick back, stay informed, and get ready to join the conversation. As always, my friends, thank you so much for taking 1 hour of your time to tune into the program. I am your host, Arrington Gavin, and I hope you all are having a wonderful evening as you tune into this show. Look, we got a lot to headline on today's program. We're going to hopefully try to impact all of them within this hour. As you know, each one is just so when I get the worked up on it, sometimes it might extend, so I might can't get from for everything, but I will at least talk about some of the latest headlines that's been streaming across our digital and airway spaces. TV, that you've been tuning into. I hope you all are having a great one. As you know, new episodes of the Arrington Gavin Show drops weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. You can watch us on the streaming platforms of YouTube and Rumble. We drop new episodes on those two platforms Monday through Friday evenings at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can also watch us on demand on Goatverse TV, right? The Goatverse TV network. You can do me a favor right now. Download the app. It is free, available on the App Store for all you iPhone users out there, Google Play Store for all you Android users out there, as well as on Roku and Amazon Fire. So I'm very excited and honored to be a part of that growing network. Again, you can download that today and tune into the Arrington Gavin Show, as well as other amazing programs like my friends Jay Skizzle and Lanique, host of Relationship Goats, who I had on about a few shows ago. They've been on the program, and I had the honor of going on theirs as well. And that's just to name a few. There's so many other amazing content on that platform. If you prefer to listen to us, look, you can listen to us on we're available on all major podcast platforms. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. Again, we drop new episodes on those platforms every evening. You can also listen to us through our radio affiliate, WDJY 99.1 FM, straight talk out of the Metro Atlanta area. We air the Arrington Gavin Show Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we're a late night vibe kind of show, and we're just honored to be a part of their growing station, and hope to get on more stations so we can continue to spread the word, grow our audience, and just welcome everybody in to the conversation, because that's one thing, y'all, the world is missing, is just a civil conversation. Oh my gosh, everybody gotta be right and everything. We can't just all agree to disagree. It's like if we disagree, then I don't gotta be friends. I don't gotta look at you. I don't want to talk to you. And look, I get it. Sometimes conversations can be difficult, especially when you don't come to a common when you don't agree on things. Now, I will say there's folks that I disagree with that, but we do come to a common ground. So it's like, boom, you got to work your way. It's like cooking, right? Or it's like making a gumbo or any form of style. It's like you have to take time in order to find common ground of things. But everybody's just so freaking impatient. It just drives me nuts. But those are ways you can tune into the program. Do me a favor also, you can follow us on our social media platforms too, outside of this program, like on Instagram, Blue Sky, X, formerly known as Twitter, as well as Substack, all with under the same name, the Arrington Gavin Show. That is ARRINGTON, Gavin, the Arrington Gavin Show. It's funny because I get a lot of folks that will still call me by my last name, thinking my last name's my first name, and my first name's my last name, or they'll add a letter to my first name, Arlington. I'm like, where the hell did the L come from, y'all? It's Arrington. It's Arrington, for crying out loud. But yes, you can follow us on all social media platforms. I truly appreciate it, my friends. Look, I'm just so excited. I want to get it going with you all. But before, I just gotta I want to share. I want to share you a conversation I had earlier today with the gentleman who obviously you he is a Trump supporter. He considers himself an independent, but he's very, in my opinion, far right leaning. Right? He's a strong conspiracy theorist. He's a strong conservative, and his a lot of his reasons it just don't make sense, right? And so we just got the we sparked a conversation, and this is no stranger, by the way. This is a boyfriend of a colleague of my mother's, and he had asked, did you see the new tariff, the new story involving the tariffs happening right now, and that the US had hit back with China after China hit back to the US with this, tariffs that's over 100%. And he one thing I just what kills me is that admit when something does not make sense and when your guy is wrong, right? I feel as though you have to stay accountable and keep people's foot to the fire. If they did something that's not a smart strategy, then call it out. Don't just avoid and find a reason to, I'm like this. He's saying, "Oh, you don't know. China really is they're missing out on a lot. They're not playing their cards right because we got all the stuff. We got all the stuff." And I'm like, look, when it comes to the United States, it's a business, right? Now, this is the businessman to me talking. It's a business. In order for a lot of business to stay open and stay afloat and function, guess what? They use resources and tools that's maybe not in close proximity. Maybe that's not based in the US. Maybe that's based overseas, right? You might say, okay, I have a let's see. I have a car dealership. I'm going to build a relationship with some of the local mechanics out, right? Or I don't know, some of the local um uh uh body shops that are known for designing and souping up cars to perfection. You know what I mean? You build great relationships that can help benefit you, and y'all all kind of cross promote. You all work together in order to make a profit. You partner up with allies. Now, I'm not saying that some of the allies that we do business with are fans of the US, but at the end of the day, we're fans of keeping our countries afloat and succeeding. And look, you have the tools that we need. We have the tools that you need, and vice versa. Now, he mentioned one thing that caught my attention. He said that the US is the biggest consumer in the world. Now, look, I'm a skeptic. I don't just believe the first thing, that I hear. When I thought about it, I'm like, hey, he could have a point with that. He could be wrong, because think of how many folks are in, say in China compared to the United States, right? Yes, we are a large consumer, but what's there to say that China's not the other one? Because China, a lot of their stuff is very forward. They're very ahead when it comes to tech and all that other jazz. So I don't know, but I just want to say, like, don't think what Trump is doing is smart. Now, don't get me wrong. I agree here and there. I agree with renegotiating with allies. Do it one at a time. I don't like the way he's doing it. The amount of tariffs that he's bringing on to all these countries. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm not going to lie and say that I don't agree completely with tariffs, because at the end of the day, you want to know what is going to help cover some of the debt within the United States. I'm not gonna always say, okay, well, the higher they tax us, that's what they get. No, we have to always find new ways in the future to say, okay, look, we've been doing this for some years. Maybe let's change it up a little bit. We don't want to ruin a relationship, but let's see how we can that can benefit both parties. That's, in my mind, that's always going to be the best side. But in this case, Trump's like, I want to take it all. I want to, give y'all a high tax. And now he's pissing other countries off, like China. China said, we're going to fight back with 34%. Now Trump is talking about 104%. Give me a freaking break. I'll talk a little more about that later on in the program, y'all, because I don't want to get sidetracked, because I don't know if that's included with it, but obviously I already talked about it. I always go off script. Forgive me. Again, my friends, you are listening to the Arrington Gavin Show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. Let me go ahead and shout out some of our proud supporters before we move on to some more stuff. Look, I want to shout out some of our proud supporters like the Dapper Luke collection. That's right, my friends. Attention, gentlemen and ladies, by the way. It's time to elevate your wardrobe at the Dapper Luke collection. They believe style isn't just about clothes, it's about making a statement. From tailored suits that fit like a dream to casual essentials that define effortless sophistication, Dapper Luke collection has it all. Weddings, interviews, or a night on the town. They've got you covered. Do me a favor, go ahead and visit the dapperlukecollection.com today to for more information, to schedule your appointment, or you can, visit him at his two showroom locations, one located in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and then another one that's located in Baltimore, Maryland. So you have two options of if you prefer to visit in person, or you can just go online, contact him from there, visit him on his social media platforms. The Dapper Luke Collection. It is a minority-owned, veteran-owned company. He's a dear friend of mine. He created many of pieces. I actually got to get back with him because your boy's been in the gym. It's like I've been in the gym, but I've also been. I see this around this gut side has been getting a little roundish. I need to flatten that bad boy up. Long story short, I need an upgrade in the wardrobe, and I need to contact my boy Dapper Luke Collection. And I want to thank him for being a proud supporter of the Arrington Gavin Show. Also, my friends, let's get it going with our fun fact of the day, a tradition we love to do here on the show, just before we get going in some of these headlines. Now, I'm speaking about trying to get the body right. So today's fun fact is, did you know that laughing can work your abs? I feel like we all know that because when we laugh, we have them gut laughs. We feel, I'm straining. Oh my gosh, I'm so sore. Oh my goodness. Says here, a good laugh engages your core muscles, making it fun and a natural way to tone your midsection. So, my friends, I tell you all the time, look, laughter. You got to laugh. You got to keep it positive. In the words of the great comedian, Mr. George Wallace, what does he always end it off saying? Laughter is the best medicine. I love you, and it ain't nothing you can do about it. Look, he says all the time, laughter is the best medicine, and that is very true. Laughter is the best medicine. So, go out, catch a comedy show. My wife and I, we love going to comedy shows. We go to more comedy shows than we do concerts, and I'm excited. We're gonna be attending Kevin on Stage or Kev on Stage comedy show. He's on tour right now. Kev on Stage is a very popular, very successful comedian, producer, podcaster, actor, you name it. He has it all. He has the I think a show on BET Plus called Churchy. He's been going on this long tour to different churches within the country, and so he is killing the game. And I wouldn't consider him. He even says this. I'm not a clean comedian. He just doesn't swear, but he really, really is a funny guy. So I'm looking forward to get my core right. Maybe I'll need to wear one of them waist things or something. Try and break a sweat. Do a little warm up jog outside when I do so. Oh gosh. All right, my friends. Well, look. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We have a lot more show for you here on the Arrington Gavin Show. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back after these commercial breaks.
What's up, y'all? Welcome now.
And we still in traffic.
Don't look familiar, do I? Not in this seat.
Hey, what's that you listening to?
Here to host today.
Hey, turn it up.
With me?
Yeah, that's that new Goldverse app. I got you.
So y'all want to know where the goats are? They're off on the sidelines.
Looking for fresh, relevant content wherever you go?
What was the name of that he said?
Introducing Goatverse TV.
Goatverse, that's what it's called.
The free streaming app that brings you the best podcasts, current events, and thought-provoking opinions all in one place. Download it now from the Apple Store or Play Store. In Goats, we trust.
Order your beard care products with Rugged Evolution. We're your local beard care line that supports the maintenance of your full, mature beard. Our line includes conditioning shampoos, moisturizers, balms, oils, shaving lotions, and exfoliating soaps. These products moisturize, hydrate, nourish, and have all the natural ingredients for a healthy beard. Log on to our website or download our app to place your orders. Become a man of distinction with Rugged Evolution Beard Care. And remember,
rugged is the new smooth.
What is happening, my friends? Welcome back. Welcome back to the Arrington Gavin show. I am your host, Arrington Gavin. And look, let's get it going with our first headline story of the day. All right. So, of course, we're going to start off with some politics. We never go in a specific order or anything in that nature. We're just going to go with the flow. And first up, we're going to talk about the My Pillow guy. Yeah, remember that guy? Yeah, Mike Lindell. Mike Lindell here with My Pillow. Yeah. Look, I'll give him credit. My man created a multi-million-dollar company off of a pillow. And you start thinking, damn, how do you create a big, huge empire off of one pillow? And it just blows your mind. You know, he had a great testimony. Like he was a man that was living with addiction. He was a born-again Christian. And so it's like, okay, boom, beautiful story, beautiful come up. Now you're successful doing all this other stuff. He took a really, really, really hard fall, in my opinion, when he became this huge conspiracy theory. For one, he was a very strong supporter with Trump, which is, not a big deal, right? Right. But then all of a sudden, he becomes this huge conspiracy theory, still refusing to say that Donald Trump lost the election in the 2020, the 2020 election. Yeah. The 2020 election between him and Joe Biden. Like, he refused, and I'm just like, he was an advocate for voter fraud, right? Now, does voter fraud exist? I'm not gonna say it doesn't, right? There's been stories and this and that involving some mishaps happening when it comes to the voter machines, voter registration, all that other stuff. But he just was kind of losing it. I mean, you saw a huge drop in his business. You saw a huge drop with his success and his notoriety in Minnesota, because that's where he's originally from. And so he's just been kind of like that interesting guy. Now he's expanded to, more than just a pillow. I think he has sheets, he has pajamas, he has slippers, he has so many other things, towels, washcloths, whatever. And he's also a vocal voice in the, I would say, the far right movement. Only conservative outlets really promote and advertise his sheets in his business. And it's weird. It's weird. He, there's the 2-in-1 sale. Hey, you even get this cross, this identical cross that I wear around my neck when I do my this and that and the other. He started his own media company. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. Well, I bring him up, y'all, because recent talk was that maybe he is thinking about making a run for Minnesota, for the governor of Minnesota. This is the state that the governor, I don't know if I think he's still current governor, Tim Walz, who initially had ran for vice president along with Kamala Harris, who was running as president. And so he's like, maybe I should take a leap of faith and see what it takes to run for governor of Minnesota, because he's originally from Minnesota. But here's the interesting thing. Mike Lindell lives in Texas, and this is where I always lose my cool when it comes to folks that are nowhere near a part of the state. Now, I can see somebody, like, for example, if you're from one state and you've been in this state since you were 5, okay, you are, and you're like 50 or something or whatever now, like, you are a citizen now of that. You are a native of that state. There's no, I'm originally from it. No, you are that. That is your state. But I remember, what's the guy? This is a doctor named Dr. Oz, when he was running for a governor of Pennsylvania, or excuse me, senator of Pennsylvania. He had no ties with PA. I mean, he might have had a resume, but I don't even think he was a New Yorker. He was a New York guy. And so it was just like false, because it was like, oh, I see this happening, I see that happening. I see that. It's crazy. I really do think, because of this recent rise of Donald Trump, the politician, I think so many folks think it's just so easy. Like, they're running for office like it's running for school monitor or hall monitor. It's just it people are like, oh, how hard could it be? How hard could it be? How hard could it be? And this actually kind of will segue me into my next story. But let me read you a little bit about this. This is reported by the Star Tribune.com. Says here, my pillow CEO Mike Lindell says he may run for Minnesota governor even though he's living in Texas. Says here that my pillow CEO Mike Lindell is considering running for Minnesota governor in 2026, saying direction of the state has gone down under DFL Governor Tim Walz's watch. All right. But there's obviously one hiccup. He's living in Texas. The My Pillow magnate acknowledged in an interview recently he will have to reestablish residency in Minnesota if he runs for governor. Side note: there was an election. I remember hearing in my home area of the Hampton Roads, Virginia side, and there was a gentleman that was running for city council. But it was like the year or two prior, he had ran for city council in another city, and all of a sudden now he's running in this city. And I think the rule implies is that, or the rule states that as long as you have like 1 year, if you've lived in that city for 1 year, you are eligible to run for local office. I think that's a bit unfair, in my opinion. Not even just unfair. I don't think that's, well, no, I will say that. I think it's a bit unfair. I don't think it's fair for somebody to run after only being a part of that city for 1 year. Now, don't get me wrong. We're in one hub called the Hampton Roads area. We're all 7 cities. You're right next to each other, right? So how bad could it be, right? But to me, I'm like, you have to have some knowledge, some history about this city that you have to be a part of it, whether if it was the high school district or whether if it was the, you've been there for years as a business owner. I don't know. I just think it's a bit iffy in my opinion. But as I continue, it says here that records show Lindell has recently been living in Texas, Lufkin, Texas, to be exact, and has registered to vote in the Lone Star State since 2023, January of 2023. Says here that he is described as a Texas citizen. Oh, okay. He likewise described as a resident of Texas. In other lawsuits, My Pillow launched last fall against merchant cash advance companies. Now, here's a funny thing, y'all. Texas, maybe it might be like all the states with T's. Texas and Tennessee are pure T. They're like the new conservative Hollywood states. Everybody want to move to Texas. Now, I don't get me wrong, I love Texas. I would love to live in Texas. The weather's great, the food is great, the no state income tax, but I do know that goes to something else. So don't be too fooled with that whole stuff. But look, I've only been to the city of Houston. That's my only moment of Texas I've been to, but I can't complain. I had a wonderful time. Never been in Tennessee, but those are extremely as red as it gets states. All right. So a lot of notable conservative voices, right-wing influential folks are moving to either Texas, Tennessee, or Florida. Those are your top 3 states that they are treating that like the new Hollywood for right-wing media and all things Republicans. Florida, Texas, Tennessee. If you think about it, all your influential voices or all your influential figures, especially in the MAGA movement, they're either in Florida, Tennessee, or Texas. Now, where did I leave off here? Says here that this is a quote from Lindell. He says here, I'm very well aware what I have to do with Minnesota. If it was next year and I was announcing, I would still have to get the residency requirements to be considered a Minnesota resident for tax purposes. One must spend at least 183 days in a state during the year, and own, rent, or maintain a residence. Now, the candidates of the governor are subject to an additional requirement. They must be a Minnesota resident, for at least 1 year. What is with this 1 year? I don't like that rule. Before the general election, according to the Secretary of State office. Ask how much time he spends in Texas. The little dude said, "I don't know. I haven't looked lately." He said his wife is from the city of Texas where they currently live at, a city of about 34,000 in East Texas, and some of their family members live there. Okay, I got you. So makes another reason for you to move there. He also said, let's see. The past 2 months, says here, the past 3 months, Lindell said he spends most of his time in Minnesota defending MyPillow and its employees in legal actions. Wow. So Lindell and MyPillow have faced a flood of lawsuits. Did you hear that? A flood of lawsuits in recent years, from defamation claims brought by the voting machine companies to litigation over unpaid bills. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison has also been investigating 3 nonprofits that they have, let's see here, litigations. Minnesota Attorney, 3 nonprofits that list Lindell as president over possible violations of state charity law. So once again, my friends, the main thing, I'm not going to read you all the stuff because I don't want to put this much time on Mike Lindell. I have a lot other better things to do. But yes, the also very sane-ish, MyPillow guy, he is thinking about running for governor. I mean, it's all just, this stuff gets so annoying. So annoying. All right, it gets so annoying. Let me go ahead and move it on and digress from the story. So I'm kind of going to stay in this realm of folks who think they have what it takes to run for office. So I've spoken about on the right. Let me find where am I looking at? Where am I looking at here? Let me get my notes all correct. So is this it? Here we go. So, and I've been very vocal about how I'm a fan of Stephen A. Smith, right? I think he is a iconic voice in the world of media and journalism, not just sports, but just as a whole. I think he's a very influential voice. I think he's a very important voice to have. Yes, can he get on my nerves sometimes? And yes. Do I agree with him sometimes? Yes. He has been quite the voice, and I will say rising star, as a political commentator, right? He's an unfiltered guy. He doesn't hold back what he has to say. He's a great debater. He brings facts, and if need be, he brings great scenarios, in my opinion. A lot of folks will say, okay, he's catering to one side. He might go by this, but he's benefiting this and any other. One thing I will say this about Stephen A. Smith, he is an opportunist to the max. He is about himself, and I, all right? He is a attention. I can't say the other thing I want to say, but he loves the attention. He does. Come on. This guy's come off of signing one of the largest contracts on ESPN, $100 million, 20 a year for, I believe, 5 years, and well-deserved. But he recently has been irking my nerves because he's teasing this notion of running for president. Now, here's my thing, y'all. Here's my thing. Not everybody is meant to serve. Is meant to. I'm getting my words bobbled up. They're not meant to be an elected official in any capacity, local, state, federal. Not everybody is suited for that. You can easily be, not easily be, but there's other avenues for you to make an impact. It doesn't have to be an elected official. Now I get it. Elected official, you're right there where the laws are being made, where the changes are being fixed, right? Where everything is fixed up. You're near the finance. You're near this. I get it. It's about what can be of a great impact. What can your knowledge be and say, look, I want to use my knowledge and build this impact on my community, right? That's where it goes. Some folks are saying, look, I want to make some changes, and I might can't do that as a community activist. I might can't do that as a local official or on this community committee. I might have to try and run so people can listen to me and I can be in charge. You know what I mean? But then there's some folks that just do it, in my opinion, for ish and giggles. They don't take it serious. Let me tell you something. There was rumors that, well, for how good and how his trajectory is rising with his political talk, maybe he'll be a great name to add on to that list to run for president for the next election for 2028. They ain't say nothing about city. They done skipped over city, state, and they just went straight to federal with absolutely no political experience. I get so annoyed. Let me just play you this soundbite real quick. Let me pull this up for you all, and we'll get to talking on the other side. But let me just pull this up, and I'll have some thoughts why I want to discuss this, because this has been a very annoying story that's been going across my feed. A lot of folks have said, Arrington, you should share. And what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So here, I'm sharing it right here on the show right now. But let me go ahead and play the soundbite before I do that, and then we'll talk on the other end.
All right, if you watch Chris Cuomo's show, which comes in just a few minutes right after my show, you often see Stephen A. Smith. And guess what? Stephen A. Smith made a little bit of news today when he said he is seriously thinking about running for president of the United States. This is him on stage at the National Association of Broadcasters.
Unfortunately, over the last few weeks, I've had no choice but to get a bit more serious about it. I've been approached by people on Capitol Hill. I've been approached by people who are elected officials in office, whether it's governors or mayors or what have you, and people have legitimately and seriously asked me about that. I have no desire to be a politician. My life is pretty well, but I've decided I'm no longer going to close that door. I'm going to keep my options open. I'm going to entertain the possibility. And if it comes in 2020, late 2026, 2027, where I look at this country and I think it's via exploratory committees or anything else that I indeed would have a legitimate shot to win the presidency of the United States, I am not going to rule it out, and I'm not playing. I just think that it's a mess right now. I'm not scared. There's a lot that I have to learn. I am no aficionado, make no mistake about it. But damn it, let me hunker down for 2 or 3 months. I'll know the issues. And once that happens, then imagining me on a debate stage with these people, these politicians, this is what I do for a living. And if for no other reason than to stand on the debate stage with tens of millions of people watching, where I get to sit back and talk about what you've been doing as politicians to literally dissipate and disintegrate the quality of America before our very eyes because of your own selfishness. Me having an opportunity to do that, that is what I mean when I say I will eat them alive. I am not a politician. I don't have a political record for them to lean on. They all do, which means I get to look at your record and what you've done and challenge whether you can legitimately say, not just with the cameras rolling, but in front of my face, that you actually operated on behalf of what was in the best interest of all of America. Who's going to pull that off in front of my face? Good luck with that. I wish they would.
All right. That was a lot. Right? That was a lot. Now, let me see how I can dissect this right here. Where to start? So, Stephen A. Smith Okay, where do I want to start with first? Damn. Right then and there, he has said he had been approached by numerous of people that currently are serve the country as an elected official on a smaller scale to a higher scale. He mentioned folks of Congress. He's at governors, right, for crying out loud. I would say this: you could have 30 people tell you, hey, look, you might be good for run off. Blowing hot smoke. Let me tell you something. There's people out there that can say, hey, look, you can have the most influential folks that will say you'll be a good person to run for office. No, look, I've been asked, not asked. I've people that have come to me that have run for office. Not none of them have won, but folks have run for office. Folks that are very familiar with politics. They say, you ever think about running? I say absolutely not. I run away from it. I'm fascinated about politics, but it's not my scene. It's not my cup of tea. I rather be a part of the squad that continues to not criticize, but continues to make sure that our elected officials are doing what's right and calling out the good, calling out the bad. As and I don't want to say calling out the bad. I want to acknowledge their accomplishments and the good, but I'm going to call out what they do wrong. There's a lot of folks that look. There's so many people that are so successful when it comes to political commentating and really, really educated. Look, there's folks. Some of my idols, right? Dr. Rashard Ritchie, Roland Martin. Oh Lord, who else? I don't know. I'm trying to think of some more influential people that I admire in that space. But I'll just keep it with those two for the time being. They are folks that easily you can say, well, look, y'all really have all the answers. Why don't y'all run for office? They know the impact that because if their voice is gone and taken into politics, guess what? Now who is the public going to listen to or tune in and get the knowledge, the feedback, this, that, and the other? Now Stephen A is just being Stephen A. He loves the attention on him. He brings up, I have no reasons. I will never ever run for office, but I'm not closing the door. I'm keeping it open. You never know what the future holds, and I respect him for that, because we all can't predict the future. We don't know what the future holds, but the fact of the matter is, Stephen A, shut up when it comes to this, though, because I recently had listened to one of his more recent episodes of his show. He, as we all know him as one of the faces, executive producer and host of First Take, which is a very successful show on ESPN, but he also has a successful podcast called the Stephen A. Smith Show, which you can tune in on YouTube. And so he literally did the first half of his show talking, maybe even more than that. It seemed like he was in a job interview or interviewing for a job for the listener, the viewer. I'm a registered independent. If it was me, I would do this. If it was me, I would do that. If it was me, I would do this. I'm like, dude, are you literally auditioning on your show to say, hey, look, I got what it takes. I could run for office. And look, sky's the limit. I mean, when you got a guy like Donald Trump in office, I feel like anybody and their mama can run for office. I'm sorry. See, one person said, hey, Don, you've owned pro football teams before. You've owned the casinos. You got this. You got a reality show. You got that. How about running for office? You know what? You're right. I'm going to do it. Oh, I wasn't serious. Too late. I'm doing it right now. And so now he's the president. What? But he's also a great, see, when it comes to running for office, look, you got to have, there's I feel like certain traits that you have to have in order to say, okay, look, he could do something with this. This can be a great strategy for you. So like with Donald Trump is he's known to sell a brand. He sells his ass off with a brand, right? His brand was his name. The whole branding of the all-powerful tan man with all the money in the world and this, the power that says what he wants. People fed off of that. They loved it. And guess what? They voted for it. Now, Stephen A. Smith had acknowledged that, look, when it comes to debating, he will mop the floor with them. And he's right. His debating skills is worth $20 million a year. $20 million a year. But we all know one thing that both of them, Donald Trump and Stephen A., might not be too successful in is negotiating. Isn't negotiating a huge part when it comes to being an elected official? You bring up a concept, you see if the majority can vote on that, or I'll just speak for as a president. You can it's pretty much the same thing, but you're also negotiating with other countries. We see right now the current administration is struggling when it comes to negotiating because the whole tariff thing is not benefiting at the moment, right? It's not benefiting the market. It's not benefiting fellow business people and entrepreneurs. It's not benefiting the consumers. It's hurting a lot of folks. This whole Doge thing, right? Getting out the wasteful spending, bad negotiating. Stephen A. Smith, if he was a great negotiator, he probably wouldn't have a agent or a manager handling his contract with his superior. Now, I don't have private information on that. I'm just saying if he knows he's great at a debate, but there's people that are great at debates, but that don't win elections. Now, could he be a contender? Like I said, I don't know. It gives you the opportunity to do. He already has the fan base. He has over 1 million people subscribed on his YouTube channel alone. He has probably over 1 million folks on his social media platform. He brings in numbers on ESPN, over 10 million viewers daily or weekly. I think I want to say daily. He has a following. So what are we going to start doing? Popularity contests and avoid the actual policies? Come on. Now, like I said, I'm a Stephen A. Smith fan. I'm an independent just like Stephen A., right? I'm tired of both parties. I can't stand neither one of them at some points because I think they both have their flaws and they both do not do what's best for the people, nor do they listen to the people. In my opinion, there's one party that, in my opinion, doesn't have a spine. There's one party that will do all they can to be against against unity, against equality. I don't appreciate that. I don't like that. But I will say Stephen A. Smith does bring on great ideas, right? He keeps people to the fire, keeps people's foot to the fire. Now, there could maybe be a secretary position, maybe. But president, Lord have mercy, please stop it, Stephen A. Stop it. That's how he would say, stop it. And I wish him nothing but the best. I just think you're letting your head get a little too big with this rumor. Just a simple idea like, how about he run for president? Look, how about Elmo run for president? You think Elmo gonna be like, you know what? Maybe I should. Like, it's just you never know what's happening, y'all. You just never know. Like I said, these day and age, anybody can run. But man, Stephen A. he sounds very confident. And we'll continue to follow up with this. Because it is an interesting conversation that I'm gonna share with some of my friends, get their take on it. What would they think? Because look, Stephen A. is a registered independent. He is a registered independent. He would not run affiliated with any party. So you have to look at that. Look at his chances. Third party candidates are never strong choices in these large races. Now, I wish it was the opposite. I think last election there was a huge growth of third party within the third party. I had the opportunity to interview a third party candidate, Chase Oliver, libertarian candidate. Had a great conversation with him. But I do think that we have to give what the people want. And if the people want to see Stephen A. in office, hey, by all means. He's not scared to go on any platforms. He's been on multiple times on conservative networks, liberal networks. He's been on The View to Sean Hannity multiple times, right? And he debates Sean Hannity, and that he considers Sean a dear friend. I would say this though: the Democratic Party is stressing. They need some names. They need some contenders. We see the names being brought up like Gavin Newsom. We've heard many times Wes Moore, who I think is a powerhouse, one of their biggest names in the Democratic Party. But I think he should. I think he's going to continue on another term with Maryland. We have Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who is she's famous off of her clapbacks, off of her, she's not scared to go toe to toe with the right when it comes to personal attacks, right? So that's where she's popular. Gavin Newsom, in my opinion, would not win an election. I've said this many a times. You are the governor that's leading the state of California. Yes, the state of California is one of the most money generated states in the country. But you have a lot of flaws. I think it's a bit tacky, the fact that he has this podcast during his governor, while he's still governor. I just think, do it when you're finished. Don't do it now. But I do enjoy the fact that he's being honest. He's saying, hey, look, the Democratic Party right now is toxic. Now, would that help him try to earn the Democratic nomination? Hell no. But maybe Democratic voters would appreciate that. Because they appreciate that honesty. They're looking at their play like, look, we are desperate right now. We are desperate. Here's some scenarios. If Stephen A. Smith, this is reported by Politico, if Stephen A. Smith decides to run as a Democrat, he will likely face potential candidates, including, I mentioned Governor Newsom, Lord have mercy, Governor Gavin Newsom, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg, and former Vice President Kamala Harris. I doubt it that Kamala will run again, but okay, they mentioned other key contenders. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, who is quite a popular individual on the left, and again, Wes Moore. It will be interesting. That's all I can say. It will be interesting. Because Stephen A. Smith is he's not opposing of running as a Republican. He's more of a never Trump Republican. He's a huge critic. He openly let he voted for Kamala Harris and doesn't regret that vote. Well, he says that there's moments where I feel like a fool, but I mean, I'll be honest, I don't feel like a fool. I knew I wanted to vote for. Was I thrilled with that vote? Not quite. But again, third party can be looked upon as either a wasted vote or a vote that will help the opposing side. And so, in my opinion, I said this. And I'll be honest, it was hard not to even consider Chase Oliver. And I'm not saying that because I had him on my show. I'm saying that because he really seemed like somebody that I could see bring two sides together, because he was a true libertarian. He had values that would benefit the left. He had values that would benefit the right. That's what you need with a true third party candidate. I'm a huge fan of Cornel West. I don't think Cornel West would have been fit for president of the United States. He would have been fit for a role within the White House, but not. And that's no disrespect. I'm giving you my honest opinion. But again, we will see. We will see. I'm looking at my time. I got about less than 10 minutes left into the show. Let's see here. What I want to impact. Let me come out of politics for a little bit, and let's get into some let's get into some pop culture in this last few minutes. Let's see here. So recently, actress Halle Berry, you know that Halle Berry, hallelujah. The also popular Oscar award-winning actress Halle Berry, a national treasure, especially in the Black community, had all right, I'm done with the I'm giving her a hell of an intro right now. Halle Berry says Oscars not designed for Black female actors, so we have to stop coveting them. All right, so let me impact a little more with what Miss Berry had to say about that. Because when I read about that, I'm like, oh, that's an interesting statement to say, especially being that you've received an Oscar. So I'm trying to figure out like where is this coming from? Let me find my because I always like to there we go. I always like to give you guys a graphic for those who are watching. For those who are listening, I appreciate that you just love listening to my amazing voice. Oh, stop it, Arrington, stop it. But says here, this is reported by The Guardian, the only Black female actor to have won the Leading Actress Award was speaking on a documentary titled Number One on the Call Sheet, along with Taraji P. Henson and Whoopi Goldberg. Now, Whoopi Goldberg is also a fellow Oscar winner. She's an EGOT, if I'm not mistaken, an EGOT winner. Taraji, I believe she's been nominated, but I don't think she's won one. Halle Berry says here has said she now believes her historic Oscar win in 2002 for Monsters Ball was an anomaly, and that fellow Black female actors should therefore stop coveting Academy Awards. Now, Halle Berry, now 58 years old, is the only Black woman to have won the Leading Actress Oscar in the awards nearly 100-year in their nearly 100-year history. Now, I'm surprised. I can name you a quick list right now, and I might even do it on our socials if I don't have time. But Angela Bassett won, should have already had an Oscar easily. She should have an Oscar. A leading role. I don't know if well, obviously because she's the only one. So Viola Davis needs to have a leading role. A Black female actress. Oh lordy. Regina King. Yes, absolutely. Regina King should have a leading actress award. Yes, I will leave. Oh, I even. I'll throw Kerry Washington because the recent film she did along with Tyler Perry, the Sixth Eye. Don't get me lying, I can't remember the name. That was a great film. Let's see here. Says here that Cynthia Erivo's nomination for Wicked earlier this year marks the second time after Viola Davis that a woman of color has been nominated for a leading actress Oscar more than once. She was previously nominated for Harriet. Cynthia Erivo was. Only 15 Black women have ever been in contention for the prize. Now, speaking on an upcoming documentary, number one on the call sheet, Berry said that the 23 years since her victory have forced me to ask myself, did it matter? Did it really change anything for women of color, for my sisters, for our journey? Berry then adds that she felt the tide would turn in 2021 when both Audrey Day and Viola Davis were nominated for the United States versus Billie Holiday and Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, respectively. She said, I felt 100% sure that this was the year one of them was going to walk away with this award, she says, adding for equally different and beautiful reasons they both deserved. And I thought for sure. Now, I will say this, my friends. I might continue this a little bit in our social media because I'm looking at my time. But one thing I have a issue with, Halle Berry has been in so many other great films that I think could have could have earned her an Oscar win. As popular as Monsters Ball was or still is it me or is it the fact that actors, actresses, and I'm not just saying just people of color, but in general, like in order for you to get nominated, you got to be naked, okay, or play, or yeah, I just think you just gotta over sexualize yourself in order to win an award or receive an award. I mean, I remember again, look at this one. Monsters Ball was extremely graphic sexually, right? It showed everything that that Halle was born with. All right, it showed everything, and literally I think she won an Oscar because she was, you know, she was having a bang bang session with Billy Bob Thornton. Yuck! Like, yes, you better get this award. But seriously, like, I feel as though you have to play a role totally out your comfort zone, which I'm like, hey, Arrington, that's acting, duh. But I'm saying you should not have to receive an award to play a role that is out your comfort zone, something that you really, really are not, like, you're not cool with. Seriously, like, why do you have to play a role where, oh, this is not going to be a serious role until I have like a very graphic sex scene, and then I will be a star, or I have to play a role outside my sexuality, and then I'll get all the money, and I'll get all the praise, and I'll be considered now a true actress. That's just in my opinion, y'all. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think about that. We'll share a little more about it on social media. As I mentioned, I got about less than 2 minutes left, so I won't be able to finish this full story, and I will continue to talk more about this on our social media platforms. But as always, my friends, thank you so much for taking your time to tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. I hope you enjoyed yet another great conversation here on the show. Be sure to continue to support. Tune into the Arrington Gavin Show. We drop new episodes weeknights, available on all digital and streaming platforms. Download the GOATverse TV app today, my friends. Download it today. I truly appreciate it if you do so. It's available on the App Store, Google Play Store, Roku, and Amazon Fire. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as Rumble, and you can listen to us on all things podcast related, right? You can tune into the Arrington Gavin Show, and be sure to tune in to the program. If you happen to be in the Metro Atlanta area, you can listen to us on that radio airwaves out there Monday through Fridays at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on WDJY 99.1 FM. Straight talk. That's right, straight talk. And so until next time, my friends, y'all take it easy. Stay blessed. Stay safe out there. I will see you next time for some more here on the Arrington Gavin Show. I'm out.